Hi, Scorpio. Always a pleasure, my dears. I grabbed the cards to start shuffling, and I have the daily chart up in front of me right now so I can read what's going on while shuffling. I am giggling a little and laughing because the first thing I heard was, here is everybody putting in their namby-pee. Ambi feelings, and why can't they just get over it? When I put a question to the phrase, I asked, what's this all about? The answer I got instantaneously in my solar plexus, right above my heart chakra, was principle over anything else. Scorpio is this place in the chart where we have spent many lifetimes building up an ability to do something so well that now we are not just fluid at it, we are the expert, the go-to. It takes a long time for that Scorpio energy to understand that even though you're very good at something, it doesn't mean your energy is required there all the time, or that you are the only one who can do the job because you're the only one who could do it right. Scorpio takes a very long time to understand their personal power place, and then to understand that first sextile to Virgo, that second sextile to Capricorn. It really means you must use mental discipline to stand down and acknowledge your position in the higher scope of things. It says, I know that I'm good at this, but the person next to me is not so good at this thing, so I'm going to adopt the role of helping them by allowing them to use me as a teacher. Will it require patience? Yes. Will it require inner strength? Yes. Will it cause you to use that trine position to the fourth house, that trine position to the 12th house, to look at yourself first, especially as the teacher, and say, man, this kid really aggravates me, really gets under my skin. But the teacher doesn't lash out at the student, do they? The teacher retreats and has a little think. And in the thinking, the teacher will say, why does this kid upset me so much? Then they have to dig, don't they? When they ask that question, they'll be presented with something right in their face that shows a deeper, darker part of their inner being. I'm not going to say that you don't feel like you have a right, Scorpio. I'll also throw this in here because I have a Libra moon, and that means I like everything to be fair. It's got to be fair, right? Psychological layering in the subconscious, according to Jeffrey Green's evolutionary astrology method, says that all of those psychological traits you have been put layer on layer for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So I'm going to give you a little help here, Scorpio. Let's say it's your first time trying something out. Let's say it's your first time driving a car, or it's your first time, well, I'm going to be honest with you, I won't lie. When I was in the military, it was too easy to pick up that weapon, point it at the mark, hit the target on the money. It was too easy. I'll tell you what's not too easy in my world. It's not too easy for me to stand up to a bully. I'm not kidding. It takes me a really long time to stand up to a bully. And there are moments where I have had to be the bully just so I could move something along or get myself out of a bad spot. These are lifetimes in layers. Do you see what I'm talking about? So the first time that I ever had to stand up to a bully, that was a really scary moment for me. I'm not going to lie. I remember her very well, and it's a freaky story. I might as well tell y'all now and just make your reading a little bit longer because, man, it's a good one. So there I was in the 9th grade, and I was friends with a girl. Let's call this girl Annie. Annie and I would hang out together. We were about 13, 14 years old at the time. And my brothers, man, they liked to work out in the garage. You know what I mean? Arnold Schwarzenegger was the big thing in their world. They had posters of him and his weightlifting journey all over the walls of the garage. It's the 80 seconds Gen X generation, so they've got Metallica going, Van Morrison, all the good stuff. They also had friends who would come over and lift weights with them. And again, I remind you, we were just a couple of teenage girls. So one day, one of my brother's friends drives up and asks me if I'd like to catch a ride on his new motorcycle. And I'm looking at my brothers and they're like, yeah, it's okay, go ahead. We trust this guy. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I get on the back of this dude's bike. He takes me about 1.5 miles down the road to the water, onto the docks, because we lived on the west coast of Florida. He drives me down. we jump off the bike, we walk around for a minute, then we jump back on the bike and go back to the garage. Well, my 13-year-old friend who was standing there watched the whole thing. When we started the next week of school, she refuses to talk to me half the morning. The other half of the morning, she's in class making sharp comments at me. She's like, wow, you know what I mean? And let's just say I have no clue what's going on. Like, why is she mad at me? Man, we hung out all weekend. I don't get it. I don't understand. She was mad. Dude had no clue. By the time we get on the bus, it's getting bad. And my brothers are on the bus with me that day for some reason, and they're egging me on, like, you really gonna let her talk to you like that? Are you really gonna? You can't let people talk to you that way. Well, I finally got sick of my brothers, and it made me angry. I stood up, turned around, looked at the girl, and I said, you want to fight? You got one. When we get off the bus stop, I'm coming for you. Well, looky here, my friends. We still had like 10 more bus stops to go before we got home. It's like we were the last ones on the line. So the whole bus was getting riled up the whole way home. By the time I got off the bus, it was expected of me, right? My brothers were massaging my shoulders, trying to pump me up like a boxer. And I get in my first fist fight with this girl who was my closest friend. One little thing happened, and it changed the direction of the whole thing. Well, guess who came and broke us up? Our doggone pastor. And that was not a good look. And then the next week, because she was reading the book Sybil, you guys know the book Sybil, right? She did this most god-awful thing. She took a kitchen utensil and poked into the torso of an actively living family member who just happened to be a sibling. 21 times. 21 times in the torso. They took her away. I never saw her again. But dang it all if I wasn't worried for a really long time. Because that sort of instability had occurred, and I was the impetus by getting in a fist fight with her. What's coming at me later, you know? The whole situation begs that question for a long time. Anyway, I didn't mean to get you lost in this story, but it is a pretty doggone good story. I'm just saying, my first fist fight, I was scared to death. The entire experience was an inner thing that had to build up my courage. My brothers were filling my insides with this hyped up hypersensitivity of being a boxer. Kids on the bus were all yelling and taking sides. The driver was like, yep, another day on the same route. So he was no help, and I had no clue what I was doing. And that's my point. You have someone here, Scorpio, who has never, ever, ever done anything like what you have done. So they don't have the confidence, the strength of confidence inside of them to try. They don't have the skill set from years of practice, from trying. All they have is the moment. And that's my point. You have someone here, Scorpio, who has never, ever, ever done anything like what you have done. So they don't have the confidence, the strength of confidence inside of them to try. They don't have the skill set from years of practice, from trying. All they have is the moment. And Pluto, right there, is really begging a question of Mars. Mars is in your sign right now, Scorpio. It is squaring your ruler in Aquarius. It will include Leo. So there might be situations with bullying involved, and that's not cool. Someone could have delayed, taken their time, not taken something as seriously as you. Maybe it's affecting your health, your money, your spiritual sense, your mental stability. Whatever it is, here comes the moment. Because Mars is in your doggone sign. And when you have a double signature like that, Scorpio and Pluto, and then their little minion Mars just walks in the door, it's like, hey, I'm home. Guess what? I brought dynamite. It's going to be dynamite. Well, yes, that's how that works. And guess what's also moving into a tight, tight square with Pluto Scorpio? Mercury. Mercury is about to enter your sign too. So things are about to get loud. You think loud? I want you to think bada boom. I want you to think how loud it must have been in any one of those places that's had an explosion go off. If you've ever been near a sound that is just so harsh on your poor little eardrums, that's about what's about to happen. You can blow out your eardrums from some of this stuff. And it might even do that internally, where you hear something and it goes into your brain and your brain just cannot handle it. It automatically rejects it. Just like a sound that is so large, with about a boom, the ears will hurt. The inner ears of the person will hurt. And that's what we're moving into, that sort of position. Maybe it's an opinion or something in this person's mind, and it's so big, just blows their mind. At the, I want to pat this little Scorpio on their head. You're such a cute little Scorpio trying to push your personal power that way, you know? And then there's a grown-up Scorpio going, so how'd that work for you? Ha ha ha. Well, Scorpio, because of that sextile to Capricorn, I'm sorry, my friends. You are designed to form a complicit, willing, wonderful team. This is your glory moment. Juno has just left your sign, and that means Lilith is the only one hanging out. She's the last one, right? She's moving herself up to position. And I promise you, Scorpio, that you and Lilith have much, much, much in common. The independence, the inner confidence, the strength, the skill, the ethics. And whatever area of your astrology chart this falls in, you'll either see this situation as you being the teacher or as you being the student or the teammate or the team member. For all the reasons you jumped on this is your moment to shine. Someone needs to step into that space and adopt that mental outlook, because something is coming that is so big that your perspective just cannot get around it. Not one more moment, not one more second. I hope you stayed with me long enough through all of that, because I also want to say this, Scorpio. It may very well be, because it is Libra season and Mercury is still in Libra, that you have kept yourself in a teacher position for so long that you've forgotten what it's like to be a teammate. To have that Capricorn energy of being a teammate, a team member, a team player. Maybe you've been a teacher too long and forgotten how to come together in a working team. And I'll add the fair balance to that, Scorpio. Maybe you've been part of the team for too long. Maybe you've been in a student position for too long. That's how this is going. Either you've been there too long or you haven't been there long enough. Uranus is currently in Gemini, and that is in a strong position to you. It's what the other person is going to do to flip the switch. With Uranus there, it's going to force you to jump in with your Aries energy. So it's flipped now. I hope you can see that, Scorpio. Either now you are the one in charge, or now you must become part of the team. And that's the way this is going to roll right now. You know, Vesta and Juno have been in your sign for quite some time now, and they have taken you every step of the way with every degree mark that has moved. The sky has moved to see, to show, to play into whatever the purity of power is, why we use power, why we let power go, what kind of tool power is, what a tool of power will do in earth energy, what a tool of power can do in air energy, what a tool of power can do in water energy. For the past year to 18 months, your sign has shown everyone what power can do. And now the coin flips.